Let us put ourselves on the presence of Holy God. But Jesus beheld them, and said to them, With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Let us put ourselves in God's protection, because for Him all things are possible. Good day, everyone. Welcome to our video lesson series on plate tectonics. Today we are going to determine the types of plate interaction. I am your teacher, Sir Guetta. For the objective of today's lesson, let us explain the different processes that occur along the plate boundaries. Let us first find out what we know about this topic by answering the pre-assessment activity. Please get your notebook for your answers. Here we go. Choose the letter of the best answer. Number 1. What type of plate interaction is shown in the figure? Letter A, converging plate. Letter B, diverging plate. Letter C, transform plate. And letter D cannot be determined. The answer is converging plate. Number 2. What type of converging plate is shown in the picture? Letter A, continental versus oceanic. Letter B, oceanic versus oceanic. Letter C, continental versus continental. Letter D, all of them. The answer is oceanic versus oceanic. Number 3. What geologic event can be formed in the given type of plate interaction? Letter A, mountain ranges. Letter B, rift valley. Letter C, volcano. Letter D, ridges. The answer is letter A, mountain ranges. Number 4. What type of converging plate interaction can produce tsunami? Letter A, continental versus continental. Letter B, continental versus oceanic. Letter C, oceanic versus oceanic. Letter D, all of them. The answer is oceanic versus oceanic. Number 5. What type of plate interaction can create an oceanic ridge? Letter A, converging plate. Letter B, diverging plate. Letter C, transform plate. And letter D, all of them. The answer is diverging plate. Last time, we discussed about 3 types of plate boundaries. The convergent plate boundary, where plates move towards each other. Divergent plate boundary, where plates moves away from one another. And transform plate boundary, where plate move past against each other. The 3 types of plate interaction involves the first one, converging plates. And there are 3 types of converging plate interaction. The first one is convergence of a continental plate and an oceanic plate. Second, convergence of 2 continental plates. Third, Convergence of two oceanic plates. The first type of convergent plate interaction is the convergence between a continental plate and an oceanic plate. When an oceanic plate collides with continental plate, the older but denser oceanic plate goes underneath the younger but less dense continental plate, causing the formation of subduction zone. Subduction is an event in which a slab of rock thrusts into the mantle. The edge of oceanic crust is melted back into magma. The magma rises, causing the formation of magma chambers, then volcanoes are formed. An example of this type of interaction is the Philippine Plate that collides with Eurasian Plate. Subduction occurs when the older but denser Philippine Plate subducts into the younger but less dense Eurasian Plate. Another type of converging plate is the continental crust versus continental crust collision. The continental crust is younger, thicker, and less dense crust. Therefore, no subduction zone is produced. They just smash one another, causing the formation of mountain ranges because the crust has nowhere to go but upward. One example of this convergence is the Indian Plate and Eurasian Plate interaction. They produce the Himalayan mountain ranges and the Tibetan Plateau. The third type of converging plate boundary is the convergence of two oceanic plates. When two plates underwater converge, the oceanic versus oceanic plate is produced. The subduction zone occurs due to their collision. Just like in continental versus oceanic collision, volcanic island arc is formed as magma rises up to form magma chambers. A volcanic island is a chain of volcanoes that are formed above subduction zone. One example of oceanic versus oceanic convergence is the Marianas Trench. Located at western Pacific east of the Philippines that measures more than 2,550 kilometers long and 69 kilometers wide on average. The depth of Marianas Trench is 36,200 feet or approximately 11 kilometers. If you submerge Mount Everest into Marianas Trench, its peak still be more than 1.6 kilometers underwater. When an underwater earthquake occurs with a magnitude of 7.0 above, tsunami are formed. When slabs of rocks move past each other so suddenly, causing the overlying water to move, the resulting wave move away from the source of an earthquake, going to nearby coastal areas. Causing devastation by washing away everything it passes through, just like the Japan's 2011 earthquake and the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Divergence of two plates. A diverging plate boundary occurs when plates move away from one another. Magma rises from the Earth's mantle to the surface, solidifying to create new ocean crust. Rift valleys are formed due to this kind of movement, creating mountain chains. Eventually, the space is filled with water. As the divergent plate continue to move away from each other, the body of water becomes big bodies of water such as sea or ocean. The underwater boundary is now called mid-ocean ridge. The mid-oceanic ridge is caused by North American plate and African plate that moves away from each other. The mid-oceanic ridge is the most extensive chain of mountains on Earth, stretching nearly 65,000 kilometers and with more than 90% of the mountain range lying in the deep ocean. A continuous movement of the diverging plate is due to opposing convection current below the crust. Transform plate. When two plates move side by side each other, transform plate occurs. It causes road and rivers to break apart. One example is the Digdig Fault in Nueva Vizcaya, where pilapils or rice paddy dikes are displaced during 1990 earthquake. All types of plate boundary produces earthquake. In the Philippines, a fault boundary is popular. The Valley Fault Line system that stretches from Bulacan to Cavite area. Most Metro Manila cities are affected by this fault. According to experts, a devastating 7.2 magnitude earthquake is expected to happen, which is equivalent to 63.5 Hiroshima atomic bombs, 951.5 kilotons of TNT, 796,214 average lightning flashes, 30.16 million gallons of gasoline, and 1.90 billion sticks of dynamite. The seismic energy is also equal to 1,105.56 gigawatt hours, or 1.5% of the Philippines' total generated power in 2012. Let us summarize our learnings for today. There are three types of plate interaction. The first one is the converging plate boundaries, which also has three types. The first one is continental versus oceanic interaction that produces subduction zone, earthquake, mountain ranges, and formation of volcanoes. Next is the continental versus continental that produces earthquake, formation of mountain ranges, and formation of plateau. And lastly is the oceanic versus oceanic that produces volcanic island arc, subduction zone, earthquake, and tsunami. The second type is diverging plate boundaries that produces mid-ocean ridge, rift valley, and an earthquake. That last type is the transform plate boundaries that causes the rivers to be displaced, also the roads, and earthquake. Let us now test our learnings for today by answering the post-assessment activity. Kindly please get your notebook for your answers. Let us begin. Number 1. What do you call the process where an old plate goes underneath a younger plate during convergence? Letter A. Subduction. Letter B. Earthquake. Letter C. Mountain building. And letter D. Volcano formation. The answer is subduction zone. Number 2. The following are the effects of diverging plates except for letter A. Formation of rift valley. Letter B. Formation of volcano. Letter C. Formation of ridges. And letter D. Formation of ocean. The answer is formation of volcano. Number 3. The following are the effect of converging two continental plates except for letter A. Formation of mountain ranges. Letter B. Formation of subduction zone. Letter C. Formation of high plateau. And letter D. Formation of volcano. The answer is formation of volcano. Number 4. What kind of plate boundary can create a geologic event given in the diagram? Letter A. Convergent plate. Letter B. Divergent plate. Letter C. Transform plate. And D. All of them. The answer is all of them. Number 5. What kind of plate boundary can create a geologic event given in the diagram? Letter A. Convergent plate. Letter B. Divergent plate. Letter C. Transform plate. And D. All of them. The answer is divergent plate. Congratulations! Let us thank the sources of the photos used from this video. This video is not possible without the following websites. Thank you so much. Thank you, my dear students, for attending our video lesson today. Hope to see you again to the next video. Always take care and God bless.